Welcome back to Pregnancy and Parenting. With us in the studio is a seasoned school head, Mr. Pual Nenjerama, and that is George's surprise because he was head at one of the schools he was at. Welcome, sir.
My pleasure. Thank you to have me on your program.
Thank you so much for coming. And George, how do you feel?
This is such a surprise. I mean, wow. Wow.
So you were talking as a parent just now, and we've kind of brought you back. But no, you're going to headmaster. So let's bring your headmaster in, and can we have this conversation together?
What a surprise. Wow. Sir.
Did it do you any harm?
No, it didn't. It did me good, actually. It did me a lot of good. It did me a lot of good.
That's good. So I think I'll just get right into it and ask Mr. Nenjerama, what is the government policy on corporal punishment?
The government is very clear on it. There is still legislation in the Education Act that allows for corporal punishment, but there are ways that it has got to be administered.
Okay.
For starters, girls should never receive corporal punishment.
Oh.
That is legislated. Corporal punishment can only be given to boys.
I feel for you.
And when it's administered, it has got to be logged in. In other words, you've got to say why the child was given that corporal punishment, how many strokes the child was given, and there's got to be a witness while this is happening.
So George, tell me about your days. Did you get some caning when you were at school?
I remember once with Mr. Nenjerama, the room where this process would be done was called the dungeon.
Ish, it sounds scary.
If you walked into there, you'd see a crocodile on the door, and all you'd hear, guys would get in there 3 or 4 at a time, and either you're getting 3 of the best or 6 of the best, depending on what exactly you would have done. And Mr. Nenjerama could hear what we would do. You would know that you're going to get corporal punishment the next day. So I remember friends of mine who would come wearing 3 or 4 sets of pants.
Oh, okay.
But when Mr. Nenjerama would beat you, he would be able to tell that, wait, this is not the proper sound. And I remember a lot of times you say, take it off, and then, you know, he would... And yeah, but those days, I remember my corporate punishment. It was once that I got that, and it was because of not doing some homework and some misbehavior. But I think it got me right into track. That's the only time I ever received
corporal punishment.
Corporal punishment.
Mr. Nenjerama, back to you. He's already stating his experience, and I'm thinking, wow, I wouldn't want to have gone through that. But do you think it has had a positive effect? I mean, on young people. Has corporal punishment been good, or has it been bad for young people after they've been in school?
As prescribed in the Act, they never used to get caned.
Okay.
What we gave to them was a butter pad, which made more noise than pain.
So it was more boom, but it wasn't really.
That's right. It was more to frighten the daylights out of them than to inflict punishment. If a proper light cane is used, it is painful, but this is never used in most of the schools, let me assure you.
Okay, so what other ways can be used? So we're talking about disciplining children and ensuring that they walk the path that they're supposed to walk. What other ways can be used besides canning them that can also mold them and bring them to that place that you're trying to get them to?
Before I answer that, let's be very clear in that we have divided people. We have got few people who feel that corporal punishment is a form of education. It can be able to assist. But there is a large portion of our population that are against it and denounce corporal punishment because they look at it as being cruel and inhumane. So we've got to look at the pros and cons so that we can be able to satisfy both these constituencies.
Mr. Nenjerama, you've been ahead for so many years. How many years, if I may ask?
Well, I've been in education for over 40 years.
Oh, wow, that's longer than I've been born.
That's a good one there, Ruthio. And at his particular school, I was there for 35 years.
Oh.
9 years as an ordinary teacher, 10 years as deputy. And that's when you do most of that working. And then 16 years as the headmaster. And so I've become part and parcel, I think, of the education system.
So I think right now you are the best person to tell us some of the things that are going on. I mean, this is pregnancy and parenting. Parents out there want to know some of the trends that are happening in schools. What are some of the things you're noticing? Not necessarily corporal punishment related, but what are some of the things you're noticing with young people in the schools?
Well, we've got the advent now of ICT.
Technology
has come in. It is having its effects on our kids. There's also the easy access to substance abuse.
Yes.
That is also another area that is now affecting the modern parent. And some of the parents don't realize that they're even budgeting for all these things for their kids without knowing. And I'm sure you go to some of the good old schools, you'll find that the strict regimentation as to how cell phones have got to be used.
Yes.
When kids can be able to go out on their own on these outings, because that is where parents fall out and lose out because they have just lost the control. And it is beyond them.
So what is your advice to Zimbabwe as we're rounding off? I just want to find out.
I would say one of the things you find with most upmarket schools is that they are now having these sessions with parents where education plays a very important role.
That's good.
Educating those parents about these various issues that we are talking about. It is the same with the corporal punishment we are talking about. If we educate parents, they will realize that there are other forms of disciplining that can be pursued rather than the inflicting of this painful physical pain just because we want to have retribution to an offense or some wrongdoing that has happened, that has taken place.
Thank you so much, Mr. Nenjerama, and thank you, George Munengwa. It's been a pleasure having you on set talking about corporal punishment.